thank you for coming. And I know that because today there's so many like good presenters, so it's like difficult to decide which one. So today I'm just going to be going through what we do with our elementary kids. And it's a very, very simple plan that you guys could implement if you want to. So first of all, does anyone know anything about me at all? Okay, so I'm Amy, I'm Dave and Amy, and Dave's popping around. And so we have 4 English schools up in Saitama City. And at the moment there's about 500 students. And we made our own games, materials, flashcards, textbooks, everything that goes together to make the lessons very easy to teach, so that anyone can teach. And we have about 8 teachers, and they pick up the system very easily and are able to do that. So this system works, and hopefully you can get some ideas today. Okay, so let's just go through real quick. Okay, so that's Dave and me in our younger years. Okay, so what we're gonna watch first is, it's actually on our website. So if you look at daveandamyenglish.com, it goes through each of our lessons. So beginner, we used to call it kindergarten, but now we just say beginner. Beginner, elementary 1, elementary, intermediate, elementary advanced, junior high school, adult, and they have videos and saying exactly what we do. So this one today is about the elementary beginner when they're starting to write, okay? So this is on the web page, and if you're interested, please go to the web page and look at the other ones, and you can get more of an idea about what we do. Okay, so this is the overall lesson. To give an overview, and then we'll go through each part. So as you can see, the kids, in the video they're by themselves, but normally we'll have them in groups of 2 or 3 doing activities. And only for the video, the teacher's next to them, normally the teacher's in the middle.
I don't know. Yeah, good. That's this one. Yeah, yeah, good. Good for cats.
Nest.
Yeah, nest. Nest. So what's this? What's this? What's this one? Yeah, good. Then good. So what's this? Rainbow. Rainbow. What's this one? Right, let's go. What color is corn?
Yellow.
Yes, it's yellow. It's yellow. What is it?
Shark.
A shark. Here you go.
Tree.
Tray. Now you
Soccer play.
Soccer player. Oh, this is
Elephant.
elephant. Let's catch. Red circle.
I have an alligator, and it's small, it's red, and black. Maybe everyone else. No and no. Did I have no? I'm Japanese. Okay, ready? We'll do one more. Horse. A horse. Make it horse.
Okay, that's like an overview of our normal lessons. Okay, and then we're just gonna break it down into the bits. Okay, so when you have your students join you, what do you usually say to the moms and dads that the children are going to be able to do after 6 months? What do you usually tell them? Anyone? If you think about your own lessons. No ideas?
I have too many different age categories to have
So
an answer.
we're talking like beginning, so I'm just thinking, so when I say elementary 1, what that means is beginning students, whether they're 4th grade or 1st grade, it doesn't actually matter. If they're complete beginners, they need to begin from elementary 1, because if they don't know how to read or write, that's it. But what do you want if they're that age, say from 1st grade to 4th grade, they're complete beginners, and you promise the moms and dads, okay, they can do this. What do you think they can be able to do, Brian?
In 1 year or by the end?
No,
of
6 months, 6 months.
After 6 months?
Yeah.
After 6 months, I would say they should, if they're fresh beginner, they should know the alphabet and the CVC.
Okay.
They should be able to do a basic self-introduction or conversation. Yeah.
Okay, so kind of like knowing like phonics and knowing beginning to read.
Yeah.
CVC, of course, is like consonant, vowel, consonant, and be able to do 3-letter words. Okay, anything else? Okay, so this is what we want like for our students to be able to do. So simple question and answer. Okay, so obviously it's responding. So for example, do you like swimming?
Yeah.
Not just yet, yes.
Yes, I do.
I do, thank
Yeah,
you.
sorry.
Thank
I was
you.
just agreeing with
Responding,
you.
thank you.
I was
Be a
just
good
agreeing with you.
student.
Yeah.
All right, so simple question and answer. Be able to respond, not just yes, no, but yes, I do. And then also be able to ask themselves, and then be able to make simple sentences like I like swimming, I don't like swimming. So question, answer, simple statements, speaking. Okay, then vocabulary. We want them to know lots and lots of different words because that's how they're going to be able to expand. Okay, then writing. Okay, so with writing, our most important thing is that they're able to look at a picture and not with any hints or anything, but they can look at a picture and write the letter that goes with it. And if they can do that, then they can progress to the next step. And the next step is to be able to write shorter words by looking at the picture, but without tracing, without hints or anything. Okay, and then reading. Okay, so when I say reading, at first it's literally looking at the letter and be able to think for themselves. For example, if it's a, what are some a words?
Apple.
Apple. Brian,
And.
you're a great student.
Yeah, I'm
you're
here for
gonna
you.
go
I'm
to
here
the
for
next,
you.
next level. Apple and, okay, they should be able to at least think of 3 or 4 words, at least, okay? But when they be able to think of the words and they have in their head that logically leads to the next step where they're able to read. The most important is the 3-letter. But again, learning the question and the answer. So after 6 months, we say that they can normally read this type of thing. Okay, so that's what we promise to our moms and dads. Okay, and as they're doing this, they're gaining confidence and they're progressing and enjoying it. And I always say that fun is progression. So fun is not me. You might be able to tell I'm not the type of teacher who jumps up and down and does all this stuff, which is fine if you do that, but I'm not like that. So we say fun is where the children are actually progressing and they're getting better and they know that they're really, really good at English. That's what's fun. Okay, so the basic lesson plan. So we have a really basic lesson plan that makes it really, really easy. You don't even have to think about it to actually do the lesson. Okay, so we have 10 minutes of question and answer. So question and answer, we can use like this, we can use this. I didn't bring them, but we can use question cards that go with the previous books. It doesn't matter. You can do whatever, and the kids are asking and answering, and it's about 10 minutes. Okay, and then the 20 minutes is text time. So in the class, we're using this text. We'll be doing text time. And then 30 minutes is games and flashcards. And the way that works out is normally it's about 10, 12 minutes of one game, 10, 12 minutes of another game. So if you think about it logically, you only have to think about this. This is basically a given. You know, the text is always going to be the same. Question cards, of course, they change, but it's that, and you only have to really think, okay, that's what I want to do in this class. Okay, so that's our basic lesson plan for 1 hour. Okay, so the very first part, oh, by the way, with the previous one, so the previous one, you don't have to, oops, I don't want to do that. The previous one, it's not always the same. We don't begin with question and answer always the same. Sometimes we begin with text, then we do the question, then we do this, it changes. But in your head, okay, I did the text, now I'm going to do the question, now I'm going to do this. It works out well. Okay, so the very first video we'll watch is basically the writing in the class and how we do it. Okay, so what she does first is point and say. And why are we having her point and say as she does it? Keep in mind, this is a beginning student. She hasn't studied before. What's the reason? Anyone?
6, very good. Okay, no, that's right.
The main reason is she might not know the words, right? And by making her write, point, and say, we know, because she's pointing, and if she doesn't know it, the kids actually stop at that one, and then they have to say, what's this? And if you don't do it, they just start writing, and then you'll say, what's this? I don't know. And like, well, why did you write something? How do you even know what it is? Okay, so then again, as she's writing, she's still saying it. Is there a reason for why she's still saying it? Linking. It's good pronunciation. And again, a beginner. So she needs to say the same words and see the same words at
Okay,
least
very good job. So this
20
is-
times before she might remember. Okay, you might notice this is a mistake. She's right, a U for Pam.
So,
And so we always circle the mistakes, and then we're writing the score as we do it.
15.
And then we write the date.
Okay.
And now you know when we did this. August 6th is when we videotaped. Feel free to come in. Okay, and of course she erases, and then she's gonna write the correct one. Okay, perfect. Okay, so that's our normal writing in class, and I really, really recommend before they write, pencil down, point, and say. And that way they can, you know if they actually know the words, and if they don't know the words, then they can ask, what's this, okay? Then you might notice we circle the mistake. So why do we circle as opposed, I know that's the opposite. In Japan, a circle means correct, but why would we do that?
Boost confidence.
Okay, boost confidence, okay.
Instead of like an X mark.
Okay, excellent to that, okay, yeah, you don't want lots of X's all over the place.
And also to be able to review and
Yeah.
see which ones they're not so confident.
Yeah, so a circle is just the easiest, to be honest, because if there's an X, then possibly you're doing an X over where they actually need to erase and write. So it makes sense. Where is the mistakes? We do a circle, it's right here, and they have to erase it. Okay, so a normal thing, if she has 2 or more mistakes, the following week we'll erase the mistakes and a bit more, and she redoes it. Okay, why do we do that? What do you think? Repetition, and what about mistakes? Are mistakes like a bad thing? No. So what do we do with mistakes? Basically, we're learning. It's a mistake, and then we're learning. And then also, it's confidence building. So for example, if one week, okay, she did very well, but to be honest, this type of page is always the most difficult. And you often get 5 or more mistakes because of the vowels, and for whatever reason, they're the most difficult. So it's confidence building. So the first week, if she has 5 mistakes, then the following week we erase those mistakes and a few more, and then she has only 3 mistakes. And then the following builds her confidence. And obviously she's learning after the second or third time, possibly she's learning exactly how to do it. So that's our normal writing in class. And each kid is doing their page in the book. Not necessarily the same page, but their page in the book is like that. Okay, so the writing a mistake. So we've gone through it, but we'll just like make sure we got it. So basically we circle the mistake, erase, and then they reduce right away, and we write the score. Okay, so writing the key points, speak and write. Okay, so one more time, why are they speaking and writing? Okay, one huge reason, we said previously about like basically they're brand new beginners. So if they're brand new beginners, then like they probably don't know the words. Like it is literally so they know the words. But the other reason is if you guys teach and you're selling your lessons, your trial lessons, sometimes when you say you do writing in class, what do moms and dads say? Do they like it, not like it? Anyone? Well, I've been teaching for 27 years, and I will say that occasionally you get, can we just have speaking in class? We only want speaking, okay? And we'll go through why you should actually have writing in class. But the point is, like, you can say, oh, they're not just writing, they're also speaking. So it's quite important to say it's not just a writing exercise, it's a speaking. And I'll just go through real quick. It comes to like the point where, for example, they're writing, what is it? It's a ring. And then they can cover it, what is it? It's a ring. So they're speaking as they do it. So it's doing both. And also with any skill, if it's only writing, that's only one way they're learning. But they're speaking, they're listening, possibly somebody else is saying something, and they're writing, and also let's say reading. Those are all the skills together, so it cements it better into their head. Okay, so those are all the reasons to do that. Okay, so you might notice the teacher. A normal lesson for us has 6 children, and we'll have 2 kids, 2 kids, and 2 kids, and the teacher's here. Okay, and why is the teacher here? So I can hit the kids.
Yeah.
Why, that's your gesture there. Okay, literally I'm here so that I can literally touch all the kids, and I don't have to move. So I'm letting the kids do it, because I can speak English and I can write English, but I want the children to be able to do it. So I'm here and they're doing it. So I'm trying not to help. Only when they're, what's this, do I say. And actually even what's this, if their neighbor knows what it is, they can tell them what it is. Okay, so as much as possible, I try to not be speaking so much. Kids are working at their pace. Okay, so for example, in the book, all the kids begin in April. Okay, for example here. But as shown with our books, what do some children need to do if they make a lot of mistakes? So they do this page, they make lots of mistakes. What do they need to do? Yeah, they basically need to do the same page again. But other kids have no mistakes, and so they go faster. Okay, so it's fine. It doesn't matter because it's the writing time. The writing time is by themselves. So it doesn't matter if they're on one page and a child is on the other page. That actually does not matter at all. And why is it actually quite good that they are actually on different pages? So let's imagine that all children are on this page. What do you think happens if all children are on the same page? Exactly, that's exactly. So we actually are quite happy when we begin and they are actually on kind of the same pages. But we're like, oh, thank goodness, you know, one child is zooming ahead and this one, you know, because it helps you out. You can tell whether they're actually doing or not. Okay, so let's go through. No cheating. So that's the thing. They're doing my pace, there's no cheating. There's also no cheating in this text because there's enough different words that some textbooks use the same words. So literally, we used to use these textbooks. They would go back and find the word and be like, oh, there's an I in there. I'm gonna write I here. So we have enough different words that it's impossible to find the word. So they don't ever look back in the text trying to find the word. Okay, so no cheating with each other, but also no cheating by going back. Okay, so, and mistakes. Mistakes are a huge bit, like learn from your mistakes. Okay, so writing in class, we said about it before, but why should you do writing in class? Okay, so for example, the kids will do homework, and what happens oftentimes with homework? Can anyone tell me? Mistakes. Are there lots of mistakes or not so many?
Not so.
No, many. And why? Why are there not so many?
Sometimes parents help.
Sometimes, yeah, that's like the operative word is sometimes. Anyway, the point is that with mistakes, when you give homework, miraculously it comes back and there are like no mistakes. And then you do the same but different page, same but different page in the class book and there's mistakes. So basically the writing in class is a test. Can they do it? Not mom and dad, can they do it? Is can the child do it? So it's like a test. It's actually quite essential you have some writing time in class to know. Okay, so it's a test. Can they really write? Okay, progress. Okay, so if they're only doing homework and the homework comes back perfect, well, then obviously I'm like, can they do it? Can they not do it? They're gonna stay at this level. But if in class I'm noticing where they're having trouble and how they can get better, then they progress better. So you wanna have the progress in your class. Okay, giving homework. Show of hand, who give homework to the students? Okay, why? What's the reasons?
It gives them that much more study time.
Okay, more study time. Any other reasons?
Shows parents that what you're doing,
Okay, yeah,
what-
parents, that's a huge thing. Anything else? Okay, you guys have basically said it, but we're just gonna go through here. Parents. Okay, so if you don't give homework, parents really have no idea what you're doing in class. And they sign up for your lessons and they're like, oh, I don't know, are they learning? I don't know what they're learning. And we used to have the problem of students leaving us around 4th and 5th grade, but we seriously do not have that problem anymore. They stay in junior high school and high school. We say goodbye to them when they go to university. And the reason is parents can see, sorry, I have to keep track of the time. Parents can see what they're doing in the class. And when they can see, then they're like, oh, they went from here to here, they're learning all this grammar, they're learning vocabulary, you can see what they're doing. And that will help you retain students in the long run. Okay, 1 hour a week, which is what most of our students do, is not enough. And you want your students to be the best, because if they are good at English, then they have fun in English, and then they are ambassadors for your school. So we have many students at the elementary schools, and they're the best in the class at English time. And the moms will say, like, that student's really good. Where are they studying English? So you really want your students to be doing extra work at home and learning more. And come in, feel free to just scoot over here if you want. Okay, and then it reinforces. So what you're learning at home, then you're also learning in the classroom. And it builds confidence and it's fun. So I always say 1,000,000 times fun is not me, like being the fun so-and-so teacher. And again, if you're that type of teacher, great, I'm not that type of teacher. But the fun with our lessons is the children progressing, being good, and also knowing that they're good. It's like if you're really good at something, then it's great. Like I have fun because of that, and that's where the fun comes in. Okay, so choosing a phonics-based textbooks, why should you do that? Anyone, any ideas? Any ideas? Okay, so we'll go through why. Brian, you have any ideas?
I was gonna say, why would you not?
No, why would you not? Okay, well then, but you must have reasons why you use it though.
Well, I mean, you have to give that foundation, and they have to have a framework to start from.
Okay, a framework, okay. All right, so we'll go through real quick. Okay, so once kids can read, it's brilliant. Kids can teach themselves. Okay, and keep in mind, we're all beginning from phonics, but I'm gonna show you these ones. So with our textbooks, they go together, green goes with green, okay? So, actually, I'll just use, so this is, okay, this is a game, and it is the same thing that goes in here, so they reflect with each other. But basically, they can be learning grammar, so question and answer, what are you doing? I'm doing yoga. And I know there'll be new words that they might not know. For example, what are you doing? I'm hitting a ball. They might not know the word hitting, but by reading it and then looking at the picture, then that can be cemented in their head. So they can teach themselves. Once they can read, they can teach themselves new words, new grammar, new vocabulary. It all goes with each other. And again, your students will be the better students, of course. Okay, pronunciation. We've had students come to us from other schools where they don't do writing. And because they don't do writing and reading, they're only hearing it. And their pronunciation, I mean, it's terrible. Their pronunciation is actually not that good. And once it's in their head, this is how you say it, it's actually quite hard to correct it. So good pronunciation is essential if you're reading. Okay, memory. If you're only just listening and speaking, it's very, very difficult to remember everything. But if you're also being able to read it and to write it, it's easier to remember things. So it's just adding to your toolkit of how they're gonna do things. Okay, so our books, of course, why should you always use our books? But basically, we thought about this a lot. So we used to use other textbooks, and at the time that we developed them, we looked around, and basically there's a lot of things that we didn't like. So we tried to address that. So when we made the books, we really tried to use, what do kids use, especially Japanese kids, like unicycle, skateboard, things that they use, and normal conversation. So keep in mind, lots of times with books, they have the kids saying things or doing things, and in your head be thinking, nobody in their life would ever say this. Why are we teaching it? So we really tried to do that with our textbooks. Again, like, can you play the piano? Do you like school? Those are all normal things that kids might actually say with each other. Again, reinforcement, it has the same things in the books. And if you look, at first they have to write just the S, then the SI, and here is, the S is already in the IX. It becomes progressively more difficult, and it's leading them up to the 3 letters. Okay, and then again, we talked before about learning from their mistakes. It's not too difficult and not too easy. And associated materials, so the main thing is, like, for each of the textbooks, there's bingo, question cards, games that go with it that basically makes the children, you're learning the same thing but in a different way. So it makes it really, really easy to teach. Okay, so the associated materials, of course, the text, flashcards, and I didn't bring everything. These are bingos, and again, double-sided bingo. This is Go Fish, this is Read and Match, this is Flip and Read, and that's Read and Match. There's different games, same thing but different. So it doesn't become boring. And question cards, and then here question cards also. All right, so, okay, bad text. Okay, I thought about this a lot because we made our own text, but how about you guys? Can you think of anything when you've looked at a text and you're like, oh, what was that?
As you mentioned, if there are phrases or sentences that kids would not actually use
That
in real
really
life.
drives me crazy, because sometimes there's whole songs that you're singing, like, and you're like, no person ever in their life would say that. That drives me crazy. Anything else? Okay, we'll go through, because as I said, I've thought about this a lot, so we address this with the books. We try not to do this. Okay, tracing. Okay, does everyone understand what tracing is? Okay, they basically write, I can swim, because it's like dotted in lines. What's wrong with that? Anyone? Do you think they can actually write?
You don't actually have to memorize it, you just put a line on top.
Yeah, and we've had kids who have those types of textbooks and come to our school, and they've been studying for 5 years, and they have to begin at the very beginning. Their reading might be higher, but because they've never actually had to look at the picture and write it with no hint, so our children in the books will be looking at this picture and be writing, what are you doing? I'm jumping. So the point is, if they can't actually look at the picture and write on their own, then that's nothing. They can't do anything. So tracing is like a handicap, and you definitely do not want tracing in the book because it's too easy. They're not learning. Learning is actually where it's challenging, where it makes it quite difficult. Okay, limited choice. So some textbooks, for example, if you have to circle the "a" word, and they give you a choice of 2, what do you think about that?
It's 50-50.
Yeah, it's too easy. So I often look and like, hello, couldn't they put 3 or 4? Like, why are they making it so easy for the children? I often look at that and like think that's, not gonna work. Okay, unclear pictures. So sometimes when I look at beginning phonics books and the children are meant to write the letter, I don't know what the picture is. I have no idea. But with our books, we got rid of that problem by putting the rest of the word there. And why would we do that? And somebody can figure out, if you're looking, okay, I think we all know what that is. Man, if we look at that and not sure, we can look at OUR and be, it must be 4. It must be 4. And let's face it, you might have the genius child who actually is starting to read. So by having all the letters there, some children will actually be able to start reading and helping you, like progressing faster. Okay, so unclear pictures. Okay, uncommon words. Lots of times if you use textbooks that are for like native English speakers, they have words like wheelbarrow or a spade or a hoe or things like that. I don't know why I'm saying only gardening words, but the point is that like you will come upon like things, you're like, again, we have these children once a week. What is the most effective way for them to learn things? So if there's words that we're teaching them that are not at all useful, also my other thing that I really hate about some textbooks is they make you remember, oh, birdie bear and aardvark ant and so on, and you have to learn characters to go along with this on that. I personally hate that because I'm like, birdie doesn't mean anything. Like, it goes along with their little thing. So we don't have any of that. Okay, easy to difficult. Okay, so we have, this one is basically beginning phonics. This one begins easy with like 3-letter, but soon enough gets to longer. What color is a web? And longer words. But the main point, some textbooks put single letter, 3-letter, lens, all together in one textbook. And you're like, how are they meant to learn? Because it is difficult. It's quite difficult to do all of that. So you do not want from here to here. What's so bad about like going from easy to difficult? What makes that not such a good thing? First of all, what do you think about how long it takes?
You're not gonna get a sense of achievement because there is no middle.
Yes.
It's either I'm at the bottom or I have to get all the way high up.
Yeah, and how long do you think it takes to finish the text?
A while.
Yeah, a while. Okay, a text, like one text, how long should it take about? In general?
1 year.
About 1 year. Yeah, you want progression. So if it goes from easy to difficult, you might need to use lots of supplementary materials and so, but they're still on the one text. So kids actually get deflated and oh my God, do I have to bring this stupid book out again? So basically in general, 1 year, 1 year, 1 year is a good way to do it. And again, I said before, but if they're a complete beginner 4th grader, they'll still begin here. But we find that they actually progress maybe in 4 months or 5 months. Okay, but the main point is 1 year or less. So to feel good. Okay, limited vocabulary. I said before, there's enough different words that they can't cheat. Some textbooks basically have 2 anchor words or 1 anchor word or so-and-so, and there's hardly any words. So of course, if they see an O, they know it's gonna be whatever, that word, that's always an O word. You know what I mean? So there's a limited choice. So basically that things, and not useful language. Okay, we've gone through that one. Okay, so we play games in the class, as said previously, but I think with games, with flashcards, it's really quite important that there's a purpose to it. Why are they doing it? Focus fun. But also that there's steps. So the whole point of playing a game or using flashcard, what's the whole point?
To practice the target.
Yeah, practice the target, learning, so and so. So if you keep in mind, some games are like this, but am I speaking to you like that now? No. Okay, so the whole point of games is to be learning normal English in a natural way. So if that's the whole point, there's a way to play games where they are actually learning and doing things. So this is how we do the games. Okay, this one. Okay, this one they're using this one here, flip and read here. And usually there'll be 2 kids together, but for the purpose of the video, it's just 1. Okay, there's always steps to the game. The very first step is like placing the cards out, saying the words. And again, they're beginning students, so it's new for them. Okay, then they actually turn over, and as you can see, they're matching together, saying the words again. Green. And you can see she's not rushing through it, she's not bending the cards, she's doing it properly. Okay, then we always have 2 checks. So there's 4 steps. Okay, and then the last check. Okay, so you can see there's different things the students need to do. And again, they'll be doing in pairs. I'm in the middle. I'm in the middle just watching. This is the most difficult because they have to remember the word, red, orange, and they're learning the sound, the new words, all as they're doing the game. Okay, so the most important thing with games, whatever game you play, so this is called read and match, there's steps. So they're not rushing through it. They're not doing so-and-so because they know that the very last is a check and that they're going to have to, basically, the check is different depending on whether they're the readers or not readers. But the children are playing it properly and doing the steps. And again, normally we'll have 2 students, 2 students, and 2 students. And I'm just in the middle. Okay, so the key points, anybody, can you tell me the key points? Okay, we'll go through them. Okay, numbers. Okay, as said previously, normally it's 2 kids or 3 kids together. And it makes it easier for you to monitor. You know, if it's only 1 kid each. Basically, kids are paired by their reading level. So if you have kids that are single letter, they'll be together. But maybe you have some kids, they're still on here, but they're actually able to read, then they'll be together. Okay, so it's by reading level, how you have them together. Okay, level, the main point is if this becomes easy, then they go up to the next level game. And all of our materials, these ones, this one and this one, you can get downstairs. All the rest, at the moment, you can download from teachers, paid teachers, and you download, and it's a bit of a pain. We're going to be changing the system, but you like print out and make yourself. But as I said, these ones we did like 10 years ago. Our students use them. I mean, once they're made, and they hold up pretty well. Okay, reinforce. So the same things that are in the book or in the games. So it's the same but different. Okay, and steps and checks. That's the most important. So with any game you use, there's a purpose to it. There's steps and checks as you do it. Okay, and it's student-led. Basically, the students are doing it. What am I doing?
Observing.
Yeah, I'm observing and like monitoring, just monitoring. Making sure they're actually doing it, you know, the way we want. Which, as I said, once the kids know the steps, they just do it. You know, they do it quite well. And the teacher's just in the middle, and they're doing it properly. Okay, so question and answer. This is how we normally do question and answer. Okay, keep in mind if they're complete beginners, they can't read yet, so it will be teacher and then students. But as soon as we can, we like to have 2, 2, and 2, or 3, 3, and 3. Why do we want to do 2, 2, and 2, or 3, 3, and 3? Keep in mind about, if it's me and students, what?
So they can communicate to each other. And
Yeah, they can communicate with each other. Kids like being with each other. That's why I don't actually recommend one-on-one children's lesson, because they like to be with each other. Any other reasons?
Stay focused.
Stay focused,
They're
but because they're with
listening,
each other, yeah.
yeah.
And also, logically, if it's me and the student speaking time is like this.
Yeah, it's way
But if it's here and they're with each other, their speaking time goes up. Okay, so this is after about 2 months or 3 months using like these type of ones with students together. Okay, so you can see how we do it.
Scooter? Good one. Do you have a scooter? Yes, I do. Okay, what color is your scooter? So I have a black scooter. And I have a sky blue scooter. Okay, very good. Okay, let's
Okay, we could continue that. Okay, but what do you notice about the question time?
To go pretty fast.
Well, okay, it's a
At the
little bit
basic
fast. I mean,
edition.
they actually only got to like the very first one. What do I do?
Facilitate and make sure they answer in full sentences.
Okay, yeah, so first of all, the first step is actually the student reading. So I don't want to interfere with the student. I'm just gonna sit there. And the students just say, can you swim? but they say, can you swim? What do I do?
Model it.
I model it. So basically, they're reading, but then their intonation isn't very good. So mainly my job is to let them do the very first thing, which is reading. And then the second step is where I'm helping with intonation and pronunciation. Okay, so basically the teacher lets the children read, and then I do intonation and pronunciation, and they repeat. And then what did I ask them about scooters? Yeah, good, what color? So the main point of the teacher is intonation, pronunciation, they repeat, and then extend. Okay, what color is your scooter, or something like that. So that's the main point, getting the students to do it first in numbers, 2 or 3, got it? And then basically they're doing it, and the teacher's in the middle, basically doing that thing, and variety. So we have like lots of different ones, so it's not always the same. You know, I mean, it's the same but different. The same but different is essential. Okay, so flashcards, with anything, with your games, with your questions, with whatever, have in mind what's the point of it, but also have the steps. So this is how we kind of use the flashcards. And again, we're beginning as a group, but soon enough the kids will do it on their own.
Let's look together. Good. Fish. One hand fish. Five. Good. Four. Make a finger and fire. One hand fire. Okay, one hand finger. Okay, remember time.
So this is like one of the steps where they have to remember, okay? And they quite like it because it's a challenge.
Remember. Okay, ready? Let's go.
Fish.
Okay, fish. 4. Good. Five. Finger. Okay, finger. 4. Oh, that's 5. Last one here.
Okay, but the main point is there's steps and checks, and we're not rushing through it again. And if the students can look at F and think of words, but also have in their head that it's fa, fish, 4 fingers, so and so, like after 4 or 5 months, then just by that, they can start reading 3-letter words. It all goes with each other. And what I'm showing you now is our beginning class. Of course, it changes when they go up to like the next level, but it's the same types of games, but different. And the way they use them is slightly different. Okay, so flashcards again, as soon as possible, 2s or 3s, not teacher-led. It reinforces what they learn in different. Having a step and check, not just like listen, repeat, remember something, give it back to me. Because right now I'm telling you lots of stuff, but if I ask you to give it back to me, and I'm not sure like how much, it's important that they give it back to me, not me giving it to them all the time. Okay, and level. If this becomes easy, we go up to the next level. And variety, make sure you don't always have the same type of thing so they get bored. We don't have that in our lessons because the students don't get bored. Okay, so we always like to say our lessons are no prep, basically because the plan is super simple. Question cards, some type of question cards, text for this long, then 1 or 2 different games or flashcards. That's it. It's so easy. And all the materials are here. They're right next to us. And the students know what they're doing. So when I give them this game, after the first time, they know how to play it, and I'm just there in the middle making sure that they're actually doing it the way they're doing it. So students are essential. Okay, so what's next? What's next is literally leveling up. So basically, kids love it. They go from this level, and they know, now we're on yellow. When I start using green, I might still be writing here, but I'm at this level. And the moms and dads know it too. They're quite happy. They're like, oh, they made it to that level in the class, yeah. So it's like, it makes them feel better. Time, we said before 1 year. On text is 1 year. About 1 year on a text. Okay, classroom setups. Dun, dun, dun. We are just gonna finish on time. Basically, I have 1 minute left. Okay, so our classroom setup, I said it before. We used to have big desks, but we don't recommend that. So we recommend like this. And why are these desks better? lighter, I'm doing this, I'm giving you a hint.
Move them around.
You move them, exactly. So if I want to make a group of 2, that's great. If I want to make a group of 3, that's great. If I want this or that, it's easy to move. So if you're setting up for the first time, I recommend get individual desks and chairs. Okay, students. Students are an essential part. Students know how to do what we want them to do. And then the teacher. I like to think of myself as a lazy teacher, who basically I try to do as little as possible in the class because I want the students doing it. So I always say to the moms and dads, I can speak English. I don't care about me. I want the students to be able to speak. So as much as possible, I'm in the background and they're doing things. And numbers. Try to have 2s or 3s doing things. Okay, and that's basically it. So, thank you all for coming today.